It's good to know. It's good to know.
You want to go? School is so fun.
I know, it's a fun classroom.
If I were in it, you know, go home and that's special. What do you make of mom?
It's one thing to, I have no problem putting on a presentation or talking in front of people. It's something to watch yourself put on a presentation, and he did a test where to make sure it worked, and I was teaching a lesson, and I was watching it back, and like, I don't know, it's weird for me. So, all right, well, I'll see you soon, okay? All right.
You don't have to watch yourself.
You're really nice to me. Thanks.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Come on, bud.
He will be our co-chaperone. So Mr. Rediker and myself. He's like our de facto teacher. For those of your children who have me, Mr. Rediker and I share a room. So second and fourth period, he's in here a lot, and the kids get to know him. And then I pop into Mrs. Vegas' classes all the time. Hi. How are you? Mr. Carshauer, we have a very open door policy in the social aid department.
I'm trying to get on the trip.
I know your wife.
Good.
Okay, so the dates of the trip are it's spring break of next year, which is the week before Easter. Easter is on April 5th. So whether we're leaving Friday night and coming home the Saturday before Easter, or the Saturday and coming home on Easter, that's being worked out. But it's going to be over spring break next year. The cost of the trip is $3,400 or $3,458. I know that's a lot of money. If I was your kid and I went home and told my father farmer and my teacher mother that, hey guys, I'm on this trip to Europe and it's going to cost you $3,400, they would have said, oh, it's going to cost you $3,400. You have a job. So I understand that, but please know that what inspired me to do this is I love your kids. Hi, sorry. I love them. I love teaching them. I love teaching this class. And as I'm teaching them, I was thinking, like, what can we do that would be really cool right before their AP exam? So it's a month before their AP exam. We're going to go and we fly in. I'm sure you've seen the itinerary. We're going to fly into London and spend a few days in London. We're not going to Oxford. That was an add-on. That was an extra cost. And quite honestly, Shakespeare does not really play in the World AP course. So I added the British Museum and the National Gallery of Art, which are both free. And we like free. Free is good. Hi. There's so you know we're going to go to these places. They're going to have scavenger hunts while we're in these museums, because I don't always love museums. I love when I know the history behind the pieces that I'm looking at, but otherwise it's just, you know, you read the little thing and you're like, oh, okay, but they're going to have the course themes, the course periods, the historical thinking skills, and they're going to basically have scavenger hunts to kind of piece together what the art that they're looking at and how it fits into our course. When we're taking our tour of the Houses of Parliament, we're not just going to, you know, see where they do their thing. We're going to talk about all the things that have been and decisions were made within Parliament, whether it be South Africa or India, kind of to the 13 colonies, American Revolution, just to bring it all together. And this is not a leisure trip, which I've been reminding the kids. This is not like we're going to go and chill. This is a go trip. We're going to be getting up early. Breakfast is included, and then we're going to be on the go until we get back to the hotel at night. And they're going to be exhausted, and they're going to go to sleep. And they know that I have two really main rules. All school rules apply, because we're on a school trip. So all school rules, it's like we're taking Goshen High School and putting it in London and Paris. And then my rules are, you're a diplomat, so you need to be respectful, and we're in someone else's country, so don't embarrass me. That was my only rule growing up, is don't embarrass my mother. I'm applying that to your children. And the second rule is suck it up. So if they think they're old enough to travel to Europe without you, and they can just suck up the fact that they're a little tired or they're hungry because we're in this together. So that I've been telling them that repeatedly, like, no, we know, we'll be good. So besides that, just they're not going to be gallivanting around the streets of London and Paris by themselves. You know, I'm hoping to get 12 for every 6 kids. We get a chaperone. So if we get 18, we'll have a third chaperone, and your kids are going to be chaperoned. This is not the first trip Ocean High School is taking to Europe. It won't be the last trip Ocean High School is taking to Europe. And it's just something I'm so excited to bring the history alive. When we get to Paris, we do our walking tour of Paris, we see the Arc de Triomphe. We're not just going to be looking at the architectural, gem that is the Arc de Triomphe. We're going to be talking about the impact that Napoleon had, not just across Europe, but throughout the world. Because in order to fund all those, achievements that he had, he sold Louisiana. Haiti has a revolution for independence. He weakens Spain, which triggers the Latin American movements for independence. I'm going to be tying a whole bunch of things together. They get to go see these historical things with their history teacher and a tour guide. We have a tour guide. We have our own personal tour guide. Because I don't speak French. I've learned that when you...
I'm sorry to interrupt. I have to increase the volume because John just said that Curtis was watching and couldn't hear you as well as he needed to.
Okay.
So
that, do you know how to do that?
No, I don't.
I'll let you play. So, Johnson. Oh, when I was in Paris, I've been to both of these countries. I've been to London. I've been to Paris. London last summer. Paris I've been to twice. I've never felt unsafe. I've never felt unwelcomed. I've had great experiences in both countries. I don't speak French. I took Spanish when I was in high school and in college. I don't speak French. But you learn the catchphrases. So I was all proud of myself. We were in Rennes, and I walk in and "Où est la toilette?" which means "Where's the bathroom?" Just so proud of myself. And the woman answered me in French. And I didn't know what she said. So I'm just standing there, smiling, and she said in English up the stairs and around the corner. I'm like, "Merci." So I've had great experiences in both of these cities. So I feel safe there. I feel safe bringing your kids there. And I know they're your babies and you love them, and I will take good care of them. So I want to go back to my babies, which I don't mind leaving for to go to Europe with your children. So, do you have any questions for me? You've seen the itinerary, yes.
So is this the first trip there for the school?
No. This is the first trip that the social aid department has been facilitating. Mrs. Krish, she's a French teacher. She goes to Europe every year. This is her tour company. Now, she's done this trip several times. This is not the cheapest tour company, but they are the best. She's traveled with other tour companies where the tour guides have been intoxicated. Because as the price goes down, you kind of get what you pay for. There was one trip that she went on, and the first 3 meals that they had were chicken fingers and fries. And she said, "We're done eating chicken fingers and fries." This tour company, we don't eat at chain restaurants. We eat at authentic restaurants. We're staying at 3- or 4-star hotels in the city centers. We're right in the middle of everything. The travel agent I've been working with sent me some of the hotels, the types of hotels we'd be staying at, and they're beautiful. If I was going there, I would not be, I already told the kids, listen, this is Europe. You're probably going to walk in, there'll be your bed, and you're going to walk around the bed and back into the bathroom, because that's where I stayed when I said these are beautiful establishments, and they meet us at the airport. There's very little thinking that we have to do. We'll have our own tour guide.
And the chaperones are all teachers from the school?
Yes. For every 6 kids we get a chaperone, so we get 12. I won't go unless there's 12. I'd like another chaperone with me just to have another adult. It'd be me and Mr. Redeker. He's an 8th grade teacher. He was an 8th grade teacher. He now teaches here at the high school. So, and then if we get a third, we have enough for a third. It'll be Mrs. Krish, because she asked if she could chaperone this. A lot of kids who will be going on this trip might not be going on her trip, and she would like to travel with some of the kids. Hannah.
Did Mr. explain about the volume?
He did. Thanks.
Mr. Redford.
Thanks.
You say this with the hotels. You say this from experience. Have they been there already, or Because I've also traveled.
Right, I went on TripAdvisor. No, I've been on
You get there and they're like, oh my God.
I've been on TripAdvisor, and Mrs. Krish has traveled with this company
And
before.
have stayed at these hotels? that
Yes.
you're talking about?
Well, she's been based in Paris. She's never gone to London. She's gone to, like, this summer, she's going to, I want to say Rome, Florence, and Paris. I want to say those are the 3 cities that she's doing.
No, but what I'm saying is,
But no.
nobody stayed,
Yes, in
This
in
week,
Paris.
they have not stayed at these hotels yet.
I'm the first trip I think that's going to London.
Yeah.
I'm not worried because Mrs. Krish has traveled with this company. She said you get what you pay for. You're paying a lot of money. You're going to have good service. And if we're not satisfied, there's all these things on their site. Again, I've been to TripAdvisor. I travel a lot. That's one of the things my family and I love to do. And TripAdvisor has never lied to me. And
I know, I'm not
so-
saying that they do, but I mean, I'm sure everybody in this room has had an experience. I
And you know
stayed
what?
at
Your
a
kids may have an experience.
4-star hotel.
They might walk
Got
in
there,
and they
yeah.
might turn the water
That's right.
faucet on and there might be an issue,
Yeah,
but it's an experience.
yeah, absolutely.
And I want to give them an experience. And if it's not peaches and cream, then they're going to learn how to deal with that. And I think that's awesome too. Because that's part of traveling.
What's the return date, April 20th then?
No. That is, we didn't know when our spring break was.
Oh, okay.
And so it's going to be April 5th is Easter. So it's either going to be March 27th or March 28th to April 3rd or April 4th. It's going to be that first week of April of 2015.
That's the week of that Easter.
Yes, it's Easter break, it's spring break. So yeah, they may not be home for Easter Sunday. We might be coming home for Easter Sunday. So, but when they go to college, spring break's not around Easter. So they're going to college in 2 years after the trip. I know it's hard. I know. The thing is, I know they're your babies. I've worked with this age group for your children's entire life. I started teaching the year your kids were born, and I just if I didn't think that they could do it, I wouldn't have offered it to them. So, Mrs. Vaughn.
I was just gonna say that my older daughter did go with Mrs. Krish to France after her junior year, and it was a phenomenal experience. That everything was great, all the things, and yes, they got up early, and my daughter doesn't handle that well. But, she had a great time. She still talks about it. She actually didn't even go with any of her close friends, and she had an amazing time. So I just want to put that out there.
Thank you.
And
Yeah.
the company is on the expensive side, but very.
Yeah, I'm not blaming, I know my daughter's gonna have a wonderful time, it's a wonderful experience for all these children. I'm just worried, like I'm sure all of you are. This is my daughter, she's,
Absolutely.
This is my
But
most,
that's
you
and
know,
that's when it
worldly
comes down.
possession, and
That's when it
it's
comes
com-
down to you.
It's not like
If
it's
you
something
feel
like that.
comfortable sending her, then you will. And if you don't, she's
Yeah.
still yours to make that
Yeah,
decision for. And I told all of them, I respect it. I respect the decisions that you guys make. You are their parents, and I'm their teacher. But when I'm with them, I love your kids.
You act like a parent.
Oh yeah, I can turn into my mother really easily. Hannah's seen it. She can imagine that. Yes.
Has there been a situation where the trip has been canceled for any reason?
Not that I'm aware of. There is travel insurance that you can get. So if your kid gets sick, or if there's a family emergency, or something happens and you cannot, your kid can't attend the trip, then you be refunded everything less the cost of travel insurance. I always get it because I travel with my kids. I brought Zoe to Rome and Ireland. She was just under 2. And if anything happened, I had to, be able to cancel that trip. We went to London last summer. Zoe was just under 4. Ayla was 9 months, and the same thing. Like, I had to be able to. So there is that, but a trip in its entirety, no, has never been canceled.
So the school's never canceled their.
No, that's never happened. The principal, Mr. Coates, is fully supportive of this. He actually, it was his idea. He's like, hey, do you ever think about taking your kids to Europe? I said, I did. I worked at Beacon, but then I left and came here, and that would be a great idea. So, and the board approved it. That's why we're having this meeting so quickly. They just approved it on Monday. And there is a little bit of a time crunch because the prices go up March 31st, which is across the board. That's how it works. My sister's booking tickets to go to Ireland, her husband Arch, for Christmas, and they have to book before March 31st because then, for whatever reason, the airline tickets just start to increase. So it'd be a $300 deposit by March 31st, and then 11 subsequent payments of $287.63-ish. Now they are going to need spending money. They're going to need a passport. We're going to have to work out transportation to the airport. If it is 12 kids, we can do like a carpool thing. If it's more than that, we could look into chartering something small to get us down there. Mrs. Krish did say it might be fun or a good thing for them to have last minute money, like if they decided to, when we're in London, like, let's go to the Tower of London, let's just do it. It's 20 pounds. I was there for 20 minutes last summer with my daughters, because the people we were traveling with, my husband was doing research and I was traveling with other friends. I'm like, come on, we'll help with the kids. And that was the only day it rained, and my mother's intuition was saying, just stay at the apartment. We went in, and Zoe was playing on the cobblestone, and it was wet. And she went down, and she cut her eye open, and she was bleeding. And you could tell, you can tell by your kids cry. As soon as she started crying, I'm like, okay, she's fine. I knew she was fine. She just was. So we wiped her face, we left. So I was in the Tower of London for 20 minutes. It was pretty cool though when I was there. But just in case that happens, there's so much to do on the actual tour, and they get these LEAP experiences. I was wondering how they were going to feel about painting stuff. They're going to get an art lesson from an artist in the Louvre, and they're going to go into the streets of Paris, and they'll be inspired by something. They're going to learn how to paint it. And I didn't know if they were going to think that was cool or not. They're like, oh my God! They were so excited. And then we get to reenact the French Revolution at the Palace of Versailles. And I'll be Marie Antoinette. Just don't cut off my head. So my name's Marie. So I thought that was so. This is a cool company. They try to go above and beyond. And again, Mrs. Krish, who does this trip every year, just speaks very highly of them. I trust her implicitly.
How many?
Oh.
Is it only open to the AP classes?
It's open up to the AP World kids and to the AP Euro kids. So I don't know how many AP Euro kids are going to come. I know there is one who was first interest, but it's pretty much just the AP kids, because the trip is designed to review for the AP exam. So we're going to see the Kota Hammurabi. Like, they're going to see it. Not touch it. I might cry again, because when I saw it, I was just so happy to see it. The Mona Lisa was so disappointing. It was like this small little thing, and then I saw the map, the Kota Hammurabi was in the Louvre, and it was a magical experience. You can judge me, but it really was a magical experience. And they'll see the Rosetta Stone, what opened up, Egyptian history. It's just that they're going to see this, and I'm going to be able to piece it together for them. So, and do fun things like seeing the Eiffel Tower and doing a river cruise on the Seine. So, which is the river that flows to Paris. It's going to be cool, and there are going to be rules. There's going to be curfew. They're going to be tired though. They're going to be just exhausted. They're going to have to get up early, and we'll be jet lagged. When we go there to get up early, that's hard. When you go there, staying up late is the easy part. Getting up early is the hard part. Coming home, getting up early will be easy. So, because 6 o'clock will feel like 11 o'clock in the morning. It's always easy to come home and then go back to work.
When they come back, they're going to come back from London again, or they'll be
Paris. From Paris. We fly into London. We spend some time in London. We take the Eurostar, which is a super fast train that goes under the Channel. It's like 300 miles an hour. Takes us into Paris. And my friends did it this summer. Their kids loved it. Their kids.
300 miles an hour. They wear helmets.
We're not outdoors. We'll be inside. Again, my friends just did it this summer. I didn't go because it's like 280 miles an hour. A lot of countries are actually using super fast trains. Italy as well.
Yes.
Italy too. And they thought it was an amazing thing. I'm just excited to go under the Channel. I think that's just gonna be cool. I haven't done that.
London Eye.
Say it again.
London Eye.
Yeah. Oh yes. And I did add the Eye. That was an additional fee of $39. But it's a ginormous Ferris wheel, and I figured, well, I'll be trapped in a bubble for 45 minutes, and I could just make them review because they have nowhere to go. So they know it's a working trip. This is, we may shop in Paris a little bit, just so I can get a pair of shoes. But besides that, it's a working trip. It's a working trip. So
So what part of the trip will they ever be on their own?
none, unless we're in the museum, because when we're in the Louvre, I'm going to give them their scavenger hunts, and they can go and see the different pieces that they want to see. I'm going to ask them to go to the Court of Hammurabi and to go through the medieval part of
Other than that, outside of the museum?
outside in the cities. No, they won't be by themselves in the city. I mean, they're going to have a map of the city. They're going to have their own stuff, and just in case we do get separated, we're going to have a plan. I'm going to trust. I'm going to guide them, and they're going to be able to take care of themselves just in case something happens. I don't want to be like, okay, I'm not going to worry about educating you what to do because we'll always be together. If something happens, they're going to know what to do as well. And I'm going to have, the company provides me a cell phone, so you'll have a number to reach me. You can also activate, if they have an iPhone 4S or higher, that you can do an international plan for that, where texting, I did it to my phone this summer. To call, it was 99 cents a minute. Texting, to send a text, it was 50 cents. To receive a text, it was 5 cents. That was through Verizon. I think other carriers offer different deals. There's also, because we live near Woodbury Commons, we are so lucky we have a currency exchange right there, and they have chip and pin cards. The magnetic strip credit cards, Europe was kind of breaking away from that. They're going to these chip and pin cards, and it's awesome through Travelex because you can get a chip and pin card that you can put two currencies on, because we're going to two currencies. London is on the pound and France is on the euro. So it's like traveler's checks, but cool. I actually have to teach what traveler's checks are because I don't know what they are. And I talk about bills of exchange. So, and it's they have a PIN number. They can go to an ATM, and then you're not paying fees. So, like if I were to use my credit card, you pay an international transaction fee. This chip and PIN, you don't do that. So, and it's safe. If they lose it, you call a number, it gets replaced. It's better, safer than cash, kind of thing. Yes.
Some of the rates when we went to Europe, even though we had the phones unlocked by AT&T, we ended up buying a card with
A
Boost,
SIM card.
which is in Middletown.
Yes.
So they had cheaper rates in Europe.
Right.
So you could get a Boost SIM card, put it in your regular phone, and they use their regular SIM card when they're in New York. So that when they go to Europe, they plug in their Boost SIM card, and when they come back to New York to the airlines, they plug in US SIM card.
And so there you can have, and I believe there's Wi-Fi in most of the hotels, or in both of the hotels that we'll be staying in. I don't know if it's going to be in the rooms or in the lobby, but if you're on a network, you can use your data. Like I didn't activate my data when I went in London. I had wireless at the house that we rented, and if I was in the city, I didn't need to be on my Facebook. I was in London. So, but this way they can keep in touch with you that way as well. So we are definitely a very globally connected world these days. My first time I went to Belgium, I was 19, and it was 1996. I said goodbye to my mom at the airport, and I got on a plane, and I flew. I got completely culture shocked, had to fly home early, but I did it, that they were on the franc, not the euro, so the exchange rate was crazy. It's much easier now to travel to Europe. So, and I know this whole thing in Russia and Crimea, I know, I've been watching it. I think I've been telling my kids, like, what century is this? This was my childhood. This is not supposed to be my kid's childhood, but, I don't feel unsafe to travel there. If we can, if things escalate or something, the tour company is not going to travel it. I've already talked about the travel agent with that. So, we're going to...
Where's the line? Are they going to say, it's too dangerous or it's not too dangerous? Where we draw the line?
I think it's a gut thing. It's going to be our gut.
$3,500 gut thing,
Again, if you don't feel comfortable doing this, it's not required. I cannot put those fears to ease.
It's not easy to tell your kid that if the school put that in their heads, you know what I'm saying?
I told them from day one that if I were them, I wouldn't have been able to go for two reasons: the money and my homesickness issues, which I overcame when I was in my 20s. So, you know, and so if your kids get homesick, I'm well qualified to deal with that. That was me. Seriously, I got to Belgium. I was with friends, my sister, like I've known these people. I was staying in their home, and it was too much. I was supposed to be there for 2 weeks. I was there for a week. I flew home early. And if you saw pictures from me, I looked like gray, and you know, I couldn't eat. It was just, I freaked out. So I get that. I understand that emotion. I know it's real. I'm not gonna tell them just to suck it up. So I get that. So it's about, and there's a lot of kids who aren't going. So it's if it's a disappointment, then that's a life lesson too. I tell you're gonna get there eventually. You will. My first time on a plane, I was a junior in high school. I went to Florida. I grew up on a farm. We didn't do family vacations. Yes.
I just have a question. Are you, I know they're gonna be in AP next year again.
Yes.
Is this something that's gonna go on every year, or this is just a trial?
Well, I would like to do it every year. I think it's going to be a great experience for the kids. I have to think about my own family too at some point in case I ever want to go away with them. But you know, I can't imagine not wanting to bring this experience to life for your kids. I was thinking about like doing it over the summer instead, but it's like no, like why waste a review opportunity? Like, when they're sitting to take their AP exam, if they're writing a continuity change over time essay, and I could, they're thinking about their experiences while they were there, and it just gives them something to write about. I don't want them to miss out on that. So that's why we're doing a spring break. Yes.
So are you saying that this will be offered again to the students?
It'll be offered to the upcoming AP World kids. So your kids are going to be leaving AP World and going into AP US their junior year. So their senior year. Nope, it'll be their junior year. It'll be offered again because now it's going to be every year because we're trying that rotation. So
Give it a job.
Yeah, exactly.
it'll be offered to my AP World kids. Your kids will be done with AP World next year. They'll be moving on to AP US, and it's not for the AP US kids. And I am offering to the AP Euro kids because they missed out on the trip. There was no AP World for the seniors.
Okay.
Do you know? This is the first AP World class, your freshman. And so next year will be the first AP World 10th grade class. So this would never have been offered before because this is the first time it's being taught.
So I guess it will be offered again to them, like to our kids?
Yeah.
Like
Not to your kids.
Okay.
It'll be offered again to the next group of AP World kids. Yeah.
Oh, so the AP Europe kids won't have it in
Well,
future years.
because it's going to be these kids. So if some of your kids want to wait until they're seniors, I won't tell them no. I love your kids. We did this whole timeline activity to kind of review everything we've done because we're almost halfway through. Their AP exam is number one distractor in any class is insects. Number two is weather. I don't care if it's raining, snowing, or sunny. If it's anything changed, it'll snow. Guys, we live in New York. It snows all the time. Doesn't matter. Number two distraction. Number three is the PA. We talk about this. So if it's not feasible for you now, and they want to do it when they're 8, if they choose to take AP Euro, that's an option. That's an elective, just like AP World is an elective, just like AP US is a choice. So, yes.
Question. I see under travel insurance, it covers medical insurance, supposing something happens when there's an emergency appendectomy or something like that, or whatever, they have to be hospitalized.
We're going to 2 countries that have socialized medicine. It won't cost us a thing. We were in Italy. My husband rolled his ankle on a curb.
Yeah.
My day off, he had my daughter. I was in the Vatican. Never saw it inside of St. Peter's because I had to go home because my husband rolled his ankle. And we went to the emergency room. X-rays, wrapped up, the whole 9. Didn't pay a thing. Walked out. Didn't cost us a thing. So, yeah, we're 37th in healthcare in the world. We're not first. Yeah, if we can afford it, we're first. Yeah.
Are other families going to be traveling separately? Do you know? Have they voiced any interest in that? So traveling independently, but then kind of
Yeah, me.
paralleling
Look, this is something that I want. If your kids are going on this trip, they're going on this trip. This is an opportunity for them to get some independence, to have a cultural experience, to, yes, they'll be with me and there'll be rules and guidelines, but if you don't feel comfortable with your kids traveling without you, then I don't think this is a trip for them. I want to give them that experience as well. So and I can't stop you from going to London. I can't say no, Miss Marco, Miss Marco anymore, Mrs. Hughes. No, Mrs. Hughes, you can't go to London during spring break. I can't stop you from doing that. But if your child is coming with me, that's going to be awkward, because then it's going to be hard to, if you're like, I'm going to take my kid here. No, but I think there are some people in this room who are maybe thinking that. And I just, it's going to have to be my rules.
Be there. Like, God forbid anything happens, I'd like to be in the same country. I mean, I don't doubt her safety or her independence. That's all fine and good.
Thanks.
But just want
Okay,
to.
but you have to understand she's on a school trip,
Yeah.
and that's going to be.
But they didn't go to Washington or Boston in 7th and 8th grade. This is her first time without her parents in a foreign country.
Maybe this isn't a good first trip for her. If you're worried about her being there without you, then maybe this is something that she shouldn't do as her first
Well, I
trip.
already told her to expect not to, and that if she gets to go, then it's great.
Right.
But
And again, I respect that. I fully respect that. I get that these are your kids, and you love them, and it's
But
hard
would
to
you
put them
be
on.
frustrated because my in-laws they live in England, so if my husband were to go visit and then having to show up at the museum on an occasion, would you be like, no,
I can't
stop?
stop. I have friends that live in London too, and if they decide to go to the National Guard at the same time, I can't stop. I can't stop people from, if grandparents then, if grandparents want to come to the museum and walk around the museum with their grandchild, I can't stop that. But if I'm like, okay, we're leaving, and grandma says, no, we're going to lunch, I'm going to say, no, we're leaving.
Right.
So things like that. Because I can't, I won't control all of London. I would love that when I was be like the queen.
That would interrupt the class.
That would be fantastic. But again, the experience I want to offer your kids is an independent one.
We're not trying to say either that we don't trust you. It's not you we don't trust.
I'm not taking it personally.
It's what can happen there while you're looking here, and there, you know what I'm saying?
If you don't trust your kid to it comes down to trusting with your kid too. No, but I'm just saying.
It's not about trusting my kid.
No, but it's to make good decisions. If I'm looking this way, I've been to both of these countries. I've never worried.
I don't know if there is, if you're gonna have that rule. They should have like a buddy system. They shouldn't be able to walk around just alone. They have to be.
Nobody ever travels alone
You know
in
what I'm
Goshen
saying?
High School.
Because there's safety.
When we go to Disney World, they don't go walk by themselves, and they're seniors leaving for college in 6 weeks. So that's something I wouldn't have even thought to say they're never gonna be by themselves, because that's just kind of like a given that they will never be able to wander off solely by themselves. That's just not. That would be such a foreign idea to, I think, anybody who is a teacher.
I don't want to sound paranoid or nothing, but even if they have to go to the restaurant, another girl has to go with them. You know what I'm saying?
They're girls, that just kind of happens naturally. But yes, I hear what you're saying. I do. I hear what you're saying. Of course.
You live in this world, nothing couldn't be you want, but things can happen. And I don't want my kids saying, all right, I'll go to the ladies' room, I'll be right back, go to the ladies' room by myself, never come back. Somebody to, abduct her. I don't want that.
Yeah, the movie Taken, remember, it's a standard rule. Everybody, we know.
Everybody's thinking it, they're just afraid to say it,
Yes.
Well, I'm so paranoid. With the payments, just out of curiosity, how does it work for the teachers and the chaperones? The more kids sign up, do you guys get a discount or something?
Every 6 kids gets a chaperone.
So every 6 kids gets a chaperone, but financially, do you guys get a discount, like the teachers, with the booking of the trip?
We do. Yeah, a serious, huge discount.
Right.
So, because we're giving our time. I'm taking your kids overseas. I don't get paid extra. You know what I mean? So if they know that if they want to get chaperones to come, it has to be very enticing. So, yeah. And that's why the cutoff is 6. So if you get 6 kids, they can offer you this incentive. 6 more kids, they offer you a second incentive, which is second chaperone. So for every 6, you get a chaperone.
But these are adult chaperones, right?
All adults. Right now, if I get 12, it's me and Mr. Redeker. Want to have a boy? Because boys are going, and sometimes boys need boys. Although if they're sad, they're going to want a mother, because that's just kind of how kids work. And that's okay. But Mr. Redeker, again, I trust him implicitly. He knows your kids. He had them last year. He hangs out with us all the time in our classes. So I'm excited. I am so unbelievably excited. I go to sleep thinking about it. I wake up thinking about it. I thinking like questions I want to ask them and different things I want to pull together. And my husband's an Africanist. He just got his doctorate in African history, and he and I have been going over different pieces in the Louvre and how to tie it into African history that we'll be talking about. So we're both history teachers. There's a lot of, my daughter's room is geography. She knows lots of countries. We don't get out much, so except when we travel. So.
Are you,
Go ahead.
sorry, are you comfortable, so if you end up with 11 kids and you can't find that 12th one, and you have 10,
I want
with 10 or 11 on your own?
No. I want a second adult with me, because just like you don't go to the bathroom by yourself, you don't take kids, your door's always, I want a second adult set of eyes, which is just, again, the right thing to do.
Yeah, that's a very good question. Now, what if you just only get 10? What are you gonna do?
We won't go on the trip.
Okay.
And they know that too. I told them that. I put a survey out to see how many kids are interested, to make sure we even had 12 kids who had an interest, and we had like 18. So I'm like, okay, I'll be 18. Hopefully we'll get 12. But they know. Your kids know.
Now, with that being said, say right at the last minute, now, how would you know that people that sign up by the 30th?
By the 31st, the travel agent, if we don't get 12 kids to sign up by the 31st, the trip gets canceled, you get your money back.
Okay, because would we get charged for a cancellation fee on that?
No. No, she guaranteed, she actually, because she wanted to start signing up early, and I said, no, I need to get this board approved. She goes, well, if the trip doesn't go through, we'll just refund the money. And I said, I need the board's approval. I can't look like, the board gets to say yes or no to this. So we didn't start.
In addition to that, let's say, for example, like halfway through something, like some of these parents like say, oh, whatever, they say, no, listen, we can't do it anymore. So now you're down to like 8.
I think once you commit.
No, there's a cancellation.
Oh, I hadn't, honestly, I didn't think about that. I feel like if you're comfortable with going and you're.
Stuff happens, this is like a year and a half or about a year.
A year out.
Anyway, right.
We're a year out.
So stuff happens. So just decide, listen.
That's a fantastic question. And I'll have to ask our travel agent that. Like, so let's say I get 12 kids to sign up, I get 2 chaperones, 2 kids back out. What does that mean? I will email her that as soon as we finish this meeting, and I can get back to you on that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
What airline are we on?
We haven't booked anything yet, so I don't know.
Travel Alitalia.
I'm hoping it's British Airways, because the Brits know how to fly. So I have flown coach in British Airways and first class on American Airlines, and Brits know how to fly. They know how to have a nice flight. I actually told the kids too, I'll be calling up the airline saying, can I request movies? I want Invictus. I want like all these history movies for them to watch. And I'll ask. I'm sure they're gonna say no, but I will ask. So, because the best part about a flight, you get to watch TV. Let's watch some history TV.
What the lady said, she has a good point.
She does, and I
I would
think
like
it's a
to
great
know
question.
too, what the outcome is.
Absolutely. I'm going to email her as soon as you guys leave and ask her about that. That is a fantastic question. I didn't think about that.
Do you have an email list for the 18 who are interested, or whoever's interested?
I can pass around.
Because that way,
send it for
we all like know
Well,
what the cancellation policy is.
Honestly, probably the easiest way to do that is if you all email me. And you can email me any questions that you have, and I will respond.
So do you want paperwork? Do you want copies of this? you know, as we fill it out?
I will get it to the travel agent. So if you, the great part about this is you're going to deal directly with the travel agent. None of the monies come to me or the school. So it's all there.
You can do it online.
You can do it online. So if you don't want to have to fill out the form, don't want to fill out this form, apply online now. And it's right there. All right. And it'll guide you step by step with everything that you have to do. Any step of the way, ask me questions. If I don't know the answer, I will find it out.
They don't accept checks? You have to do it with a credit card?
I think they accept checks.
Okay.
You could do a debit card.
Or a debit card where they deduct from your account. It's all outlined there. I would totally have to charge you. If I was your kid, I'd be, here's my credit card. So I can't even think, wow, writing a check, that's amazing.
Jerome said, did you already mention the fundraisers? Is there-
We will, I have no problem fundraising. I absolutely don't mind fundraising. It's just, if you're depending on fundraising to go, that's a lot of fundraising to raise $3,500 for, X amount of kids. But we can fundraise for spending money. We can fundraise for, to help with, different costs. I don't mind fundraising. I was a class advisor, class of 2013, a class of 2004, class of 2008, but I left halfway through to come here. I was over at Beacon for a few years. And so I told the kids we need to think big. Like we can't sell candy bars. That would be that'd be 3,400 candy bars we'd have to sell to pay for their trip. That's a lot of candy bars. Actually more than that. You don't, for each box of candy you keep like $20.
So on the trip, what do they get? Dinner, breakfast?
Breakfast, dinner. The only thing they're responsible for is lunch and souvenirs. We have to tip our tour guides, but I don't mind tipping. I can take care of that.
3,500 don't even buy that, eh?
Well, just like dinner, just like when you go out to dinner, you still got to tip. Although in Europe, you don't have to tip your waiter. That's weird. It's weird to tip there because they get paid a living wage. Yeah, the tips thing is, they get like, when I was in Ireland, I left money out. They're like, you left your change. I can tip here. Yes.
What is the recommended spending amount for them to bring with them?
Well, you can do lunch, honestly, on less than 10 euro or 10 pounds a day. Very, very filling lunch. I mean, you can get a bowl of soup and a piece of hearty bread for like €5. So if you want to do on the cheap side, just like probably $100, $200 would be plenty. If they are going to want to shop, then you're going to need more. If they're going to want to bring souvenirs home for all their family members, you're going to need more. So you have to gauge it like that. The only thing they're truly responsible for is lunch, and then again hey, let's do. It doesn't happen often because the trips are so booked, but just in case. And if it's let's do and not everybody, we can't, and we're not separating from chaperones. So I won't allow that because I want to bring your kids back for myriad reasons. I really like my job, and I really love that. I want them to be safe. That's reason number one. Close second, I really love my job. So
I hope I don't have to do the taking kind of deal.
It's a movie. Liam Neeson's awesome in it.
Well, he's saying something. That's why he did that movie.
Still a movie. I have been to London and Paris. I've been there by myself with just my husband and my sister, Mrs. Baker. I've never felt unsafe. But you also have to be aware of you have to be you have to be aware. And you can't just walk around, you have to you listen to your gut. They'll never be alone on the streets of these cities where their guts may be like, I'm all by myself, and I don't know that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So we're going to be in very public areas with the tour guide. The only time that they'll have time to walk on their own, again, is when we're in the museums or on the grounds of Versailles. We go into the gardens. But even then, I'm going to want to be with them.
These are very big institutions, these museums. These kids are running around.
They're palaces.
Yeah.
The Louvre was a palace.
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
Well, these kids running around loose, being in a different country.
I don't imagine them running around loose.
No.
on that dragon simply out.
You know, yeah, so this is
They have
not.
security, they have security.
You get, there's x-ray machines you put your stuff through, you can get patted down, absolutely. You're welcome, you're welcome. So, again, if you're not comfortable, this is a judge-free zone, and I get it, and I will run interference for your kids if they come in and they're like, I can't believe I can't go. I say, well, you're 15, and you still have to ask, and the answer was no. Someday, you won't have to ask, but today you have to ask. You know, my mom, I was youngest of 4. By the time I got, no, it wasn't. My mom's just done. She was tired of being a mother. She's like, yeah, just go with your sister, that's fine. So there's 7 years between me and my closest sister. She was done. But
Could you just clarify, I think you said something at the start that there was a change on the.
The Oxford trip, that was an added fee. That wasn't included in the price. And Shakespeare, I think it's day 4, the Oxford Stratford, it's just to go see Shakespeare stuff, and Shakespeare does not have a place in the AP course.
Said to the English teacher.
I'm sorry. I'm not an English person. I know. I can have them recite Shakespeare if that makes you feel better while we're doing this. But no, it was an added fee. If it was free, then I would find a way to tie it in. But I was looking to keep the cost. It's a lot of money, but you're getting bang for your buck.
So instead of that day,
we're doing the National Gallery of Art.
Oh, that's nice. They have an Englishman in New York.
And the British Museum. And the British, used to control a big part of the world, so they have a lot of stuff, like the Rosetta Stone, which I missed the last time I was there. We went to, like, Princess Diana's playground. I had my kids.
You have to call everybody sir when you go over there.
You want to be respectful. I mean, I usually say, sir, ma'am, miss, because it's the respectful thing to do.
You call Sir John the Watts.
Only if they're knighted, and even that, the aristocracy, it's not as cool as it once was. So, although if we see Prince William or Princess Kate, I think we have to bow in courtesy, but that would be awesome. You can ask when the next baby's coming. I would totally do that. We will see the changing of the guard. I think that is within the season that we're going to be in. The beef eaters, the people wearing the red and the black who don't move, they really don't move. My daughter, we were at Windsor Castle last year, and I went to there was one standing there, so I had my kids, and Zoe went up to grab his hand. I'm like, don't touch it! So she just, and he did not move. I like, how do you not even giggle at that? It must be in a Zen place. But
They practice.
yeah, it's a good gig too if you retire from that. They do the tours and things throughout London. But again, I'm gonna take good care of them.
Okay, so we deal with the travel agents and we give them the deposit, and before the 31st, the whole thing with them.
It's all done through them. Questions, please. I believe there's like help for you guys as well. Email me. I will email our travel agent directly, and I will get back to you as soon as she gets back to me. She's pretty good with turnaround time. She works, I want to say Sunday through Friday. She's called me on Sunday a few times. Yes.
So we can ask her questions.
I can ask her if you can email her directly, and we'll see what she says.
Do you have a listing of our emails?
I don't, but if you email me,
So that's how you want.
I will have a,
Put it together.
yes.
Okay.
So if we want them to go on the trip, we can go home, we can sign up, and then you're waiting for the 12, and then we cancel? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, I will. If I don't get 12, I'm going to pull the trip.
Okay.
And she knows that.
And you're going to find out the answer
To her question about if people back out throughout the year. So.
What if you get to 12, and let's say somewhere down the line, not saying that I am or I'm not, I don't know.
You pull out of the trip?
No, that I decide I want to go to the trip, and it's going to be a little bit more money, would I be able to make my child still go, or is once we don't go?
You can't go on this trip. You want to book your own trip to London, I can't stop you.
No,
Is that what you're asking me?
No,
if you don't want Enzo to go now, but then in August you're like, you know what? Go have a great time. It's gonna be more money.
Right.
$300.
That's the only thing.
Yeah, it's about like $300 more.
But my daughter will go.
Yes.
In the event, I'm not saying that I'm not saying.
totally understand, now I understand the question.
more
Yeah,
time.
it's just gonna be more money because it's going to,
There'll be-
the airline prices are going to go up.
But there might not be a trip if there's not enough people.
Right,
No,
if I don't get 12, there won't be a trip. I have to also think of the logistics on my end too.
The 12 is by March 31st.
Yes. Because if I don't get 12 by March 31st, I can't imagine people paying more after that. You know what I mean? Like it's $34.58 now, plus the cost of passport fees. You know, you need a passport. They don't already have one. Make sure it's not going to expire. My brother went to Canada. They need a passport now, and he opened it up, and it was expired, and they had to change their flights and do a 24-hour passport, and so he didn't even think about that they expired.
Once again, how many kids in the class in the hotel room are gonna be? How many?
3 or 4 to a room.
Rooms? So it's gonna be what, double beds? or
Yes.
is it gonna be in a bed?
Yes. which is every trip. They're going on the senior trip to Disney World, same thing.
No, that actually it's good. There's safety in numbers. There's 4 kids in a room. But it's safe, numbers, there's safety.
Right. It's also cheaper. So the Disney, you're dividing the hotel cost by 4 instead of 1. And there was a couple of kids like, I don't know how to sleep with someone else. I'm like, well, I was like, just suck it up. But then other kids, I guess, going to camp, they say, what you do is you bring a sleeping bag. And someone sleeps on top of the covers, the other sleeps below the covers. I'm like, wow, you really put a lot of thought into this. I'm like, I'm tired. There's a bed. I'm going to sleep. But I don't know. I also grew up in a big family, and that's just
The adventure
shared lots of
in me, I want to send her. I don't want to not let her go because I wish I could go.
right,
You know what I'm
right.
saying?
Mhm.
But the mother in me is we're nervous, which isn't expected. You don't mean to be disrespectful.
I don't feel disrespected. I don't. I think you're concerned parents. But again, it's just going to come down to what you feel comfortable doing,
Right.
and I will respect that decision.
I'm fighting.
So
I don't want to not send her and regret it. 'Cause I know she's gonna love it and have a great time.
she will. She will absolutely love it.
But
Have a
I'm
great
also
time.
worried if God forbid something happens, then I'll be saying, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. You know what's going on?
But that's being a mother.
Every day they go to school.
That's being a mother.
Right. It's true.
My daughter starts kindergarten. I have to put her on the bus and send her to school. You gotta. Although I live on the farm, I built the house.
I got one more.
I didn't leave it. I didn't go very far, but you
I
don't
got
let them
one
go.
more
We
question.
come back. We always come back.
One good question is the best question of the night.
I'm excited.
Yeah. I was gonna ask the question, but now I'm so excited, I forgot about it.
You can email it to me.
I'll email it.
This is
Oh, yeah.
This is huge.
The
It's okay.
question is, we won't call in the classroom before you told the kids about this trip.
I had
That's my
to make
question.
sure. I had to make sure they would want to go before I spoke with you. Look, I deal with your kids first. I deal with your kids first. I'm their teacher. I deal with them. And I presented it to them. They were like, woo! And then I moved forward. It's still up to you to say yes or no. I wasn't going to call all you guys secretively and say, hey, guys, come in for a meeting. I'm going to pitch something to your kids. It's just not how it works anymore.
You gotta
So-
be able to say yes and no.
Yeah, and you
I'm
are
just wondering,
totally allowed to say no.
Believe me, that's not.
Totally allowed to say no. This is huge.
Boys, girls, how many could you take an estimate here, interest-wise?
Well, there are a lot more girls in the course than boys. So by default, there'll be more girls on the trip than boys. There are both all my classes and all Mrs. Leggett's classes, there are more girls than boys. So I believe we'll have at least probably 2 rooms of boys who have expressed interest in going. So, and, to me, they're just kids. I know I have to think about it like that too, but it's not like there's only be one boy going kind of a thing. There'll be at least enough for a room or 2. But there are going to be definitely more girls because we have a lot more girls in the course. I don't know if it's just because there are more girls out. I have 2 girls. My friends just had 2 girls. There's lots of girls out there. So we're awesome.
Yeah, we are.
So I can't do something.
Thanks for.
Oh, you're welcome. I wouldn't do if I didn't love your kids. You know, it's a lot. I'm excited and, you know, a little overwhelmed by all the planning, but I took 145 kids to Disney last year. I was a travel agent for my sister's wedding, brought 45 people over to Ireland, and car rentals and bed and breakfast, this whole big trip. I organized, you know, I like this stuff. If I wasn't a teacher, I'd probably be planning. So, all right, please email me any questions. Thank you. Thanks for coming in on a Thursday. So. It's your mom here? Oh, the one that looks like me. The one that looks like you. I was just saying.
You sound like so much fun. I would want to do an adult trip next year.
I could go on.
No, she wants.
Good for her. Wow. You're welcome.
Good to see you as always.
They have, that's her plan.
That's
The whole year.
That's fantastic.
And it's my 25th anniversary, so I'm
Oh,
trying. But of course, the whole time she's there, I'm in school, so it's like, you know, you can feel trapped. Not next year.
Oh, great. Nice. You're welcome. Thanks for coming in. And again,
Going to raise that.
Oh, yeah. She's nice.
He's gonna go with French. But everything in me is nervous, but I know.
Oh, okay. Oh, thank you. Can we actually just, they're practicing for mock trial next door, so we're just gonna go.
And I need to find out my how about
I'm sorry. I mean, because my mother, of course he wants that. Okay, he's like, you're very, you know, the thing is, you love her. That's the sophomore year. Then you're gonna have junior year. Then you see, you know, the senior year, they have these class trip to go to Disney, right? And that's fine. Then I have 2 other kids that are gonna want, definitely, if I do this for my son, who is 7. Then I'm done. But, you know, definitely when I'm gonna have.
Because I need the.
I'm just thinking, you know, but I
need that.
travel a lot too. So,
Well, your older daughter, she had a paper and I need like.
well, that's the thing, like my son.
She's a junior, only like.
Oh, yeah, she is.
Yeah.
She was at Sue.
And I agree with you, Bill, even in spring break,
And Lily.
that's when they have to prep.
That's my horse.
She was taking a trip right now. And Lily was sort of saying something that she was fresh. So, and that's what she wants to do. Yeah, that's what she's planning to do. And our kids never got to do this. You know, just because of how things are going, absolutely. You know, I don't know if that trip's gonna be around. It ended up being closer to 4. This Melissa had to pay 1,900.
No,
Oh, no, that's spending money on top of this. She also did a spreadsheet for it, and she yeah. So Melissa's planning on going to Italy right now. And she's going to my dad's work. Just because it's a whole year. Like, and I don't have going. It's my anniversary, but we can all go.
Ooh, I like that idea. Let's go. Actually, my anniversary.
What if your 25th too? We're the same, are we? We're 23 this year? I think it would be. I think that'd be a pretty darn.
I'm trying to get in the track of those things. Well, I don't know, so you guys, are you into, or?
I think probably yes. I need to sit down
Yeah.
and have a conversation, and I need to have him, like, the 3 of us need to be, because he's, you know, he's away, so trying to have a conversation, I just need to make sure that he's comfortable with it. I think that he will be.
I'm pretty sure like my, I mean, our kids are traveling to respond. But you know, I can make, like, listen, dude, if you wanna go, you gotta earn it. You make some something, you gotta do it. First of all, I don't know how to do it today, how to get older stuff. You just gotta squeeze in and help around.
Actually, one of my biggest concerns is, you know, blue collar schools, darn teachers, to give them work over those breaks. I'm more worried about really getting her work done.
They don't get that right now.
But,
Get done.
well, and I'm not, it would never prevent her, but, you know, but the same thing, like, it's
Still get it
because of
done.
that time, you know, the rest of the world is what it's. Yeah.
So I wanna get.
If you know what's going on in the world, you gotta think about.
It's sometimes I was surprised at things that I think are very clear time.
I mean, you're.
Really? You're not that way.
And you know what's interesting?
Vice versa.
But you know what's interesting? I think I told you the story. I was out to dinner with couples, when Melissa was, I think, a freshman, and something came up about her travel, you know, and I was like, oh, I didn't know somewhere. And my husband and Annette and John all were like, no way, no way. And I was like, I actually got upset. I was like, but I was upset. I was like, you're not gonna do that, you know, like, Melissa was a freshman, it wasn't even an idea in our mind, you know what I mean? Sure, they were like, no. And then Mark with, and I was like,
Yeah, well, the amazing just wraps up.
Mark is Mark was in the meeting and he came home and said, and I was like, because I really thought he was like, his fundamental, you know, philosophy was,
And then you
no,
and I
they're not traveling.
sit down and talk
And
about
she- and then he went and she was like, and she did it, so it was a big thing. I know you guys have a different. I didn't even think about it, but I asked.
Oh, that's. I don't know, I was asking if you were gonna go.
But I asked him before we came, so I just wanna know, are you
Anyway, I got,
definitely
here's
going
a
to
number.
And he's like, what are your thoughts? And she said, like, definitely. So in my eyes,
She's like, she was telling me, she's like excited about the work. Oh, that's Brian's like.
Every day is.
I know.
Alyssa worried about her doing the work. Alyssa would have been psyched.
I'm not worried about getting it done.
Oh,
without
getting
having
it done
without having a nervous breakdown. That's, you missed it.
Okay, here I did. No, I didn't. I'm sorry.
Goodbye.
My sister, my parents got my one daughter,
Does he want to go where he's like, he's kidding?
Oh, good, okay, great. I don't know. I'm excited.
Really?
Hi, how are
He's
you?
also, yeah, same thing, yeah. The thing is, there's also this Costa Rica trip that's supposed to be traveling with, Hugo.
Okay.
Oh, this
really?
week, July.
Okay.
Well, I don't know about that because, I mean, I'd love you to go for the Jesus, but you know what? And then you need to, if they go, he's going to become responsible. You know, if I gotta sit down and talk with him, I mean, serious about it. You know, I don't want to stress him out with that, and that's gonna be hard. I don't want, it's got a lot as it is right now, I don't wanna,
Yeah, she finished that.
I don't want it to bother them to this and that.
But they have this summer, you know, like, this is a good summer where they can get their teeth under them.
And they don't have the nuance that has schools.
Right.
And then they'll have something.
Look, I have to see permanent things. It's not very, like, one way or another about it. And then he was nervous, and he's like, well, different. But I think he just needs to hear Tim say either, you know, yes or no, like, it would be a good thing, and then he'll feel, I think it's.
Well, I think I like the idea that they go out and they explore and learn all this stuff.
And we've actually been, like, we've done,
I'll wait till
we
you.
did the England already. He's young too, but he's not done
Oh,
French.
good.
yet.
Oh, good.
So it's not that he has to travel, you know?
Right. But I mean, so I'm taking, they don't know this, but I'm surprising them.
She is.
In June, we're gone.
Well,
She's,
Yeah,
she's doing May, and then.
I think you're going to
No,
spend
no,
that, but it's
September.
gonna be.
So she's doing May, June, July, August, 2 weeks. She's only gonna miss the 7 or 8 weeks of school, and then she's doing all things being helped, which looks like it's going to. She's coming back in September. I only did a 3-month maternity leave. I'm not.
I want to take my.
I'm a worker. I gotta go to work. That's my dad's, and I can't, but not work. Some people still do.
They do, okay.
Some people still do, but I have a great setup where I'm going back to work, and so I guess, she's coming back, her plan is to go back. Mr. Cuscino is really her place, he was my legal case. Thank you, you're very welcome, I'm
Thank
sorry I called you. Oh,
Thank you
I'm
very
happy
much.
you remember, Mike Kelly was telling me, you're welcome, it's good to see you, I'm sorry. Mike Kelly was telling me a story about Hughes. He's like, come on, you know her mother. I'm like, I know Sinead Hughes' mother. He said, you know her mother. And then, come on, she went, wait, what's it?
It was water or something.
Water. Amy? Amy's having an Amy.
No, it was, I have son. Right.
He was one who was talking to sleeping bag.
What?
My brother, we were talking to sleeping bag. That was that conversation.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He's like, I was just kidding, Panda. You have to go. I'm like, really? He's like, no, it doesn't. It's being funny. I love your kids.
My girl's a trip.
Love them. I love that.
Thanks, get some rest.
I will. Thank you. Have a good night.
Well, how's things overall doing in the city study?
She's holding her own. You know, let me turn off the live YouTube feed.
You know Elsa? She a Spanish teacher?
It's the Spanish teacher. No, she's not. She said she didn't know it.